The first stop of the UCI downhill season in 2024 is 2 weeks away, and I wanted to go over the very first track that it will be held on, which is Fort William, Scotland. 2.82 kilometer course, so it's one of the longer ones, so this is definitely an endurance course for sure, although it is definitely fast. Last year we had a top speed of 64 kilometers an hour, or 39 miles an hour, which is so fast. The times usually are about 2 to 3 range based on the men's or women's category. To put that in perspective, I have the trail up on Trail Forks. The average time for the average person is 17 minutes. So that's insane and ridiculous. Today I just wanted to go over the key sections of the race where historically the race has been won or lost, what to pay attention to as you're watching the race or the course, and what sections I think are going to be the key sections for this course are going to be, and what you should be paying attention to as you're watching highlights or if you're going to be watching the broadcast. The top section, or split 1, is super open and sandy. It's kind of like the marshlands above the trees. It's got lots of boardwalks on it, lots of big round boulders that riders are going to be kind of skipping through. This is kind of the most, while the rest of the track has turns in it for sure, this is going to be the most like wide turns onto different wooden features going over marshy bits, and then just super gnarly rock sections. It's definitely the rockiest part of the track, and this is historically where the race is kind of won or lost, is in this top section. It's the longest split. This is going to be about medium to high speeds. This is not going to be the top speeds of any of the riders, but this is definitely, in my opinion, where the race is won or lost. There's lots of rocks and off-camber bits to get you kind of unsettled, as well as you have to keep your pace up and not fall into any holes. The second part is where the track kind of slows down for a little bit. You kind of get into the trees, so we're gonna get a little bit more roots. We're kind of leave that like sandy rock into more traditional dirt roots and rocks. This is a little bit more flowy. We have some switchbacks in there. But it's not nearly as high speed as other parts of the track. The third split is very similar to split number 2. It's a little bit faster, a little more open. We start to get some jumps in there as well. And this is split 3. There's a lot more line options that are actually like roped off. So there's forks, there's a little bit of more decision making. Splits 3 and splits 1 are where most of the line choice is. Split 2, while it's steeper, there is more like tight corners, so there's not going to be as much line decision. Everyone should be pretty much in the same line choice. But split 3 is where line choices are again going to be important, just like split number 1. The last split is going to be by far the fastest. This is kind of the motorway where you have all the big jumps as you're coming into the bottom corral. This is where the speed trap is. They have the classic jump down with the huge landing. It almost looks like a ski jump where riders are just blasting off it. There's a couple big compressions, and then you're into the finish corral. Now, weather is always a big part of Fort William. It is never a dry track. If it is, I'm sure it's super sandy and loose, but it's almost always either raining wet or damp from recent rain. That's Scotland for you. The track, if it is a mud bog, can be quite slick, but we've had some very iconic races in the wet here at Fort William because the track does hold up so well when it is super wet. Unlike some other races like Mount St. Anne or Lenzerheide, where if it's a mud bog, it's an absolute ice rink. It's not quite the same case here at Fort William. If the dirt is tacky, expect some very fast racing. Now, I did fail to mention though, in split 3, right before split 4, there is a pedal section where there is a little bit of an incline. This is where racers who are out of shape, and you're going to be able to literally tell if they're not quite into the shape they want to be coming into the race season, because they will hit this climb after have already been racing for a mile or 2 kilometers, and they're going to hit a wall, and you're going to literally see that. So racers that have good climbing efficiency, and they're going to hit this small little incline or this flat, and they're going to leave other riders who maybe not quite have the watts that other riders have. Okay, that's everything for me. Let me know down below your favorite Fort William moments. Let me know your favorite Fort William moments down below. stay tuned for next week. We'll go over the riders coming into season 2024, and I will give you my hierarchy of who I think is at the top right now and who should be the favorite. So without further ado, peace everybody.